You're listening to the YWAM Nashville podcast. My name's Cody.
My name is Michael, and we'll be your hosts for this season.
Welcome back to the YWAM Nashville podcast. I'm Cody here with Michael again, and we've got our friend here from East Africa. We're going to call him Mohammed for safety and precautionary reasons.
So if you hear a lovely African voice, that would be Mohammed.
Yeah. So how are you doing today, Mohammed?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here today with you.
You bet. It's good to have you.
Yeah.
So we don't have any new current events for this week. It's been kind of quiet, but you can keep praying for the virus. Things are starting to open back up, but
with that provides more potential sickness spreading.
Yeah.
So just be praying.
Apparently that's the thing as well. And also, it's still Ramadan, and that continues until towards the end of this month, or May, rather. And so keep the Muslims in your prayers, because we want to see revival.
For those who don't know, Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting, prayer, reflection, and community. So we just want to pray that they meet Jesus.
Actually, Mohammed here used to be a Muslim, and he comes from a place where that's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us what that looks like back home?
Ramadan, it's like a month that people wait for 11 months.
Wow.
They prepare, they wait, and one Ramadan is like a week before Ramadan starts. People buy food, a lot of food, and also they believe it's a kind of blessing to them and something they had to do, like, fasting and sunrise to sunset, and also it's the month that they probably feed the poor, and and I believe like almost everyone, they pray salat during the Ramadan time. And so it's also one interesting thing about Ramadan is one of the last 10 days of Ramadan. They believe one night it's there's a huge blessing if you meet that night, and it's unknown night, and it's like thousands of years of that you've been praying and fasting and worshiping. If you meet that day, so they have a lot of interesting thing in Ramadan.
Wow.
Yeah. And they expect a lot of things from God.
Gotcha.
So what do they fast, like food all day?
Yeah, they start, I think they have like 3 o'clock in the morning before they start praying their first prayer, which probably 5 o'clock in the morning, right before the sun rises. That's when they start. That's when they have their last meal until sun goes down.
Gotcha.
So whole day they're gonna fast from the food, from the water, from even talking a lot, and
Wow. Maybe we should do that.
I'm already struggling with lunch.
I don't know. Talking about fasting last week, so
if Jesus asks me to
take a leaf out of their book. Maybe not. I don't know. It's a blasphemy. I don't know.
I don't know.
So just keep those things in your prayers, and So real quick, we'll move into, before we hear more from Mohammed, we will move into the dad joke segment of the podcast.
Can't forget. All right. Why does a milking stool only have 3 legs?
Why?
Because the cow's got the udder.
Mohammed thought it was funny.
That's good. Apparently it translates well into East African.
That's great.
All right. So, Mohammed, why don't you tell us a bit about what it's like back home and what it was like for you growing up.
All right. For me, I was born one of the capitalists in East Africa, and I was my some of my parents were politicians when I was born, and they still had a power those days.
Mm.
Then after 2 years, when I was 2 years, my mom and dad got divorced, and so my mother was from Somalia. Then my grandmother took me there.
Wow.
Then right after 1 year, that's probably when I was 3 years old. This North and the South Somalia fought really hard, and then because of the fight, and the cities were destroying, and my grandmother took me to Ethiopia. Then I been there 3 years. Then I back to my country, which was safe those days. Then I decided to still live with my grandmother because I was really young. I was really like 5 years old. Then my parents, my dad and my aunt, they accepted my decisions those days, and they allowed me to live with my grandmother. Then she took me back to Ethiopia. Then the fight of Somalia finished after 3 years when I was 7 years old. Then we back to northern Somalia, where I been like until I graduated high school.
Wow.
Then when I graduated, I came back to my country, and as having a politician background family, all I could think about it was to become a politician, very successful politician. Then and it was 2003 when I saw George W. Bush, who was talking to the Congress, and it was right before Iraqi war, and he was talking a lot of things about the how women struggle in Afghanistan, how they don't have rights in some areas in Afghanistan, Pakistan. There is no rights, and it was the first time I ever thought about it. Human being can have rights and cannot have rights.
Wow.
So, but that didn't make me to think about God or anything. But I just started to go forward with my career. Then I became a translator in a Somalian embassy in my country, and those days Somalia had a warlords, and then being a translator into Somalian embassy and concerning the Somalian policy there, which had a lot of ups and downs those days.
Yeah.
Yep, that's how that was like my old man and my old target.
Yeah.
Until I came to Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So did you grow up Muslim? Like, were your parents Muslim and your grandma Muslim?
Yeah, everyone was Muslim.
Yeah. So
my parents and everyone.
What was that like as a kid? Like, what was growing up in a Muslim culture like for you? Like, did you go to like the mosque to pray and
Yeah, you it's especially when I was in Somalia. Yeah, it's something normal. People can go to mosque, and if you're a kid, your uncle can just take you to the mosque.
Yeah.
Some prayers I remember I used to refuse, like when you're waking up middle of night and going to the mosque. So, but I used to love Ramadan.
Yeah.
Back days, because the meal is really nice.
Yeah.
And they eat a lot of sweet things.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I used to love Ramadan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well.
So how did you meet Jesus in a Muslim culture like that? Did you run into a missionary, or what happened?
Oh, that's a really good question. First time I heard Jesus was when I was a teenager, and somebody told me about Jesus, and all I could understood was like he had a power, and then there's a Father, and then there's Holy Spirit. So as a Muslim minded, it was hard to to grasp or to understand.
Yeah.
But that's what's the first time I heard. So, but what I decided was when I, after being a political translator like 7 years, I understood there was something really wrong in this world. The fights, the struggles, and the religion fights. And then I decided to really know what's going to happen if I die. So that's what made me to seek God, which started from my heart. Then somebody who was American told me God is in my heart. Then I met an Ethiopian evangelist, and then that told me, share with me how the sin entered the world, the book of Genesis. Then he gave me a Bible. Then whenever I see Jesus talking through the Gospels, the book of John or Matthew or Luke, or when Jesus talking, it was kind of really different than any other good politicians, and better than George Bush or Tony Blair. So all I could feel like this guy was really from different world, a world that I can trust in my soul when I die.
Wow.
So that's how I decided to just follow him.
That's
without
awesome.
even fully knowing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what happened when you encountered Jesus? How did that change your life?
Okay, that's I remember when I confessed, I immediately started to know how to read the Bible. And thank God that I had somebody who was really helping me those days. Then he showed me how to pick the chapters, the verses, which is quite different than Quran, you know, and how the books of the Bible, the New Testament, the Old Testament, the letters of Paul. Then that's what I did before I been baptized. Then I been baptized. Then because I knew English and I could also read some the local languages, and the people who were evangelizing me put me a small, very weak gathering, like few people who did not know how to read the Bible, and also in a very scary situation. They put me to conduct the Bible, to teach, to read, to teach.
How was that for you?
It was really interesting to me, and being brave enough to be a political translator and to come all the way to 3-4 people who does not even know how to read. Then it gave me a desire to read the Bible more and to prepare lessons for them, then to share with them twice a week.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how my life became. So God somehow changed my desire of becoming a politician and to a Bible conductor.
Wow.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you're saying like being responsible for those people kind of pushed you to read the Bible more so that you would have something to teach them.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it gave me a desire to read the Bible more. And I also I also had an understanding of the really need they had. So also the people were encouraging me. Some people were encouraging me to help these people. They were really poor and struggling in life, and so they were also excited to have me there.
No.
That's good.
Yeah.
Are there many believers back home where you're from?
Yeah, we were just kept growing, and yeah, and last few years we became like 52, 53 believers.
Wow.
Yeah.
From like 3 or 4, you said at the beginning?
Yeah. I
That's
remember
crazy.
2013 there was a parliamentary election, and I ran a opposition party as a parliament candidate. I was in the list. So I remember when I wanted voters who are believers. So the entire country, 2 people had the ID who could vote. So you can imagine how really.
Wow.
Yeah. So
But now at least there's 50 people. If I become a candidate again, I will get 50 people. So,
There you go.
so that's a huge step.
So what did it look like? Like, I know some places in the world, if you become a Christian, you can be outcasted from society and really persecuted. So I was wondering how that was for you, where you're from particularly.
I think in the Muslim world, they share the persecution
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the Quran. Whether you are from East Africa or you are Middle East or North Africa, because they have one book
Hmm.
which talks about a lot the persecution. Like, if you deny Muhammad, there should be consequences, and that consequences is death.
Wow.
So if they don't even kill you, it's sin for them.
Wow.
So it gives them it's a kind of law article that they have to fulfill to
Yeah.
put you in death if you were a Muslim
That's-
before.
That sucks.
Yeah. But the people who were reaching me, they were really very careful.
Mm.
And I know I've been exposed, and I had a really hard time with the family, which I don't want to talk about here. But I remember I used to write like Psalms chapter 13, 23, the Lord is my shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
So in those chapters, I used to keep in my pocket, as I write,
Yeah.
then I keep in my pocket.
That's good.
Also, I never allowed the other fellow believers to keep even a paper which has Bible verses, because it's kind of almost in their head or rejection, very big rejection.
Wow.
What's rejection?
Like family kicking you out of the house.
Oh, I see.
That is the best thing that can
So
happen to you.
You didn't want anybody to find their
Yeah.
Bible verse in their pocket. Okay, I see.
Because if they're lucky, they will be out of their family,
Yeah.
Yeah.
unless they will be beaten or killed. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
so the persecution is just the same.
Wow. So the best case scenario was getting kicked out of your family.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also the government cannot, if you had a job from the government, they will chase you.
Wow.
Because also it's some of the articles of the government is a Muslim, based on Muslim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if they allow us Americans to work there, or the armies or wherever, they don't bother them because of they were born in Christian. That's what they believe.
Yeah.
But in my home, in my country, even the government,
Mm.
there are articles that they cannot accept another religion
Yeah.
except Islam.
Wow.
So it's something every country, every Muslim, Pakistan,
Mhm.
wherever, Iran, Somalia,
Yeah.
and my country, it's just the same
Mm.
when it comes to Jesus. Yeah.
So, what about your understanding of God and his character changed whenever you came into relationship with Jesus?
To be honest, now I've been to US. Now I'm in the US, and I saw big churches, which I didn't expected it exist even.
Yeah,
When
there's some
I-
big ones out there.
Yeah. When I came to Jesus, it was like what was happening around me was what is written in the Bible. Paul
Mm.
talks about persecution,
Yeah.
and Jesus talks about also. He talks and he lives, and that's exactly what we've been doing.
Mm.
Some people can ask you about Jesus, and you tell them, but you need to immediately leave that position.
Yeah.
Because others can come and stone you or whatever.
Wow.
So what it's more real, and it's really more touchable. And I know here is also it's a lot of helpful because there's less persecution. There's people are praying openly, but there what's happening is what written in the Bible.
Wow.
It's what's presently happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's crazy.
yeah. So the Bible is kind of more alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the best way I can say.
Yeah, I also just want to say, like, I think we can say this, but if we can't, then you can go ahead and cut this out. But Mohammed was actually just in our last DTS that we did, and I was his small group leader, which was kind of weird because he's like significantly older than I am. But it was really interesting, like doing Bible studies and stuff with him, because there's things in the Bible that make a lot more sense when you're from like the Middle East or like Muslim cultures that don't really make as much sense in American culture. So it's been really fun working through the Bible with him.
Yeah. Yeah, even in the few like Bible studies that we've been in together, it's just been really interesting to hear your perspective on things and to be like, I don't know, like there's more of like a relatability for you in some of the things, and you're like, oh, this is the kind of thing, and you've related it back to your experience in Africa, and it's been just really insightful and really interesting. So I'm wondering, how was your journey in coming here, and what kind of set you on that path, and what did that look like?
Okay. Being in the US, I think that's just, it's from the Lord to, maybe it's kind of his plan in my life to see different experience, to meet different brothers. And so when I first came to US, I remember the church I was going was 1,000 people praying in the same place just in couple hours. And the speaker is on the stage, and there's guitars, there's saxophones, there's pianos, there's singers and help singers, those who are cheering you.
Yeah.
And I was straight out from a gathering that's only 12 people or 13 people.
Yeah.
Which can make a lot of sense when you see, oh, Jesus spoke to his disciples and the 12 was there. So all I knew was the 12.
Yeah.
And then you go to 1,000.
Yeah. And they highly gather even in the Bible. So in my first 2 months, my mind was not even accepted that when I was joining Sunday services, I was even praying.
Yeah.
Because it's been a huge, challenge for me. And so what brought me here, if I go back to your question, it's like I think it's been there like 7-8 years and serving there as a first church leader or something. I kind of needed to grow more, and so that I can help others. So also, my first call, if I was helping them to read the Bible more, now there are students who graduated the university who are believers now, who could do that work, but they still need me. So those who are even graduated the high school or the universities, so that's something I want to get from here.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's more I can help my church on.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. We didn't even know Muhammad was coming. And then it was like a day after the DTS started, they were like, oh, by the way, there's going to be an African man here tomorrow, and he's going to be doing the DTS. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. So now here I am, graduated.
Good to have you.
Here you are. So how did you end up hearing about YWAM and deciding to come to a school, and what was that process like?
I had some YWAMers friends, like 5-6 people, and they were loving people. They were different than any other missionaries that I ever saw or met. So and I was in Clarksville. There is a Vineyard Church there, which was my church.
Yeah.
And so when I heard, I think 48 hours before I joined the school, that's what I hear, to clean my clothes and to pack. And so I'm gonna go to school.
Yeah.
In a place called Adams.
Oh man.
Then,
Adams, Tennessee.
Yeah. Then when I heard the school is from YWAM, I had no question even, because I knew they were good people.
So how was the DTS for you? Like, what was God teaching you during that time?
Okay. So God and I had a lot of different stories in the past. There were really years that my first year, my spiritual life was very high, because I was a very new believer, and my heart was very clean. There was no temptation, nothing. And then there was a times that I felt like God left me. no more. I had no the Holy Spirit at all or anything. So my spiritual life was like ups, downs. But in my DTS, I can say it was where I really met my God, where I met God face to face, like Mount Sinai, when Moses met God. So yeah, so it's been to me a special journey.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
I'm so
after
glad.
being long time a believer, like 9 years, the last 6 months that I can say really, I met God face to face.
Come on.
That's great.
it. Yeah.
He's actually headed out this Monday, so it's kind of sad, but I'm excited. What is it you're headed off to do?
I'm gonna keep growing, especially to work like missions in the front lines, which probably how God even came to me. It was front line.
Yeah, on the front lines.
So I want to grow more in that in those areas, so that tomorrow I can help others who are in the front line. And yeah, so it's gonna be hopefully a huge step.
Yeah.
Which I can also say I'm already excited what the Lord has done for me during my DTS, and especially the reach out and outreach and sharing the gospel in the malls, in the markets, and just stopping people. Do you have a minute? How can I pray for you today, sir? Something that I never had before.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of whole thing is kind of excited for me. So I'm gonna see what's gonna look like.
Yeah. Hopefully, great.
Second phase of growing.
Yeah.
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 Well, right on, man. We're gonna miss you.
Yeah, me too.
That kind of answered my last serious question, so I just have like some fun questions left. Do you have anything?
Thinking of something.
Still.
Oh, how can people be praying for you?
Oh, okay. How the people can be praying for me? Definitely, might the Lord make easy my tongue.
Yeah.
To adjust the southern accent.
That's glorious.
That's my first prayer request. And riding horses.
Come on.
Yeah.
So we haven't talked about it yet, but Muhammad is an avid
Cowboy fan. Not the football team.
Yeah.
The actual Cowboys.
Actual Cowboys, like Western / Southern.
Yeah. He's fully embraced Southern American culture.
Yeah.
Although I accidentally taught him a terrible Southern accent because I was like just being funny and he thought that was what it sounded like. So my bad. Sorry about that. But we didn't.
So my prayer request is to really speak well in my Southern accent and riding horses, and also how in my own growth, also this journey of me.
Yeah.
I will definitely need prayers, supporters, and in different areas. Yeah. So that's my prayer request.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Right on.
Well, you mind if I ask you like just a few like fun questions while we're here?
Go ahead.
So what are some of your favorite things about American culture, and what are like some ways that it's different from back home?
Oh, the food.
The food's different.
Oh yeah. The American food is so good. It's like there's a lot of options.
Yeah.
You go to a restaurant and they can ask you request one thing, and then the waiter can ask you like, how do you like to be cooked? Well done, half done, or small done?
You want small, large?
Yeah, large. And
you want salad with that?
Yeah, so it's really, there's a lot of different flavors. In back home, it's just the rice and spaghetti. Even growing up, we just had, what to expect lunchtime, what to expect dinner time. So the food is like really what gets.
And bananas.
And bananas. Yeah.
Bananas.
Yeah. So the food is really good. God bless America in the
Yeah.
food. The food.
It's true. I'll agree with you there. Every time I leave to go overseas, I'm like, man, I just want a cheeseburger right now. God, can you provide me with a cheeseburger, please?
And you get a cheeseburger overseas, and then it's just not
Yeah, it's never exactly the same.
the same.
Yeah.
You're like, I just want a McDonald's cruddy cheeseburger.
Yeah. But yeah, this man here eats bananas with his spaghetti. I tried it. It's not bad. The flavors don't really mix. They're just both there. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
Basically, tastes like you have some spaghetti and you take a bite of a banana.
yeah, it's not bad, you know?
We recommend trying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw snow for the first time, right?
Oh yes.
How was that?
The first snow, the first ice I saw was here.
Yeah, in the bird bath, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It was frozen over.
I couldn't believe that. Like 24 hours before, it was a water. I saw it,
Yeah.
and the next morning, it was like
A block of ice
Yeah.
with leaves in it.
Yeah.
He said, "No, you put that there." I said, "No, that was. It's just cold."
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then we had a snow stuck in the road in Missouri.
Yeah, we spun off the road
Yeah.
on the way to Minneapolis for our stateside outreach. That was a trip.
Yeah. And my toast freezed.
His toes
Oh,
froze.
Yeah. And then also I've been in the snow for about a month during my outreach.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad I'm still alive. Yeah, especially where I'm from, which is so hot.
Didn't know it could get that cold.
The Africans survived the winter.
Man. Oh, we camped out behind the big house here, the main building on the campus.
30 degrees outside.
And it got down to like freezing, and we camped by a fire. Was the one who made it through the whole night.
Yeah.
He was one of two people,
Yeah.
and he said he slept like a dead man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, like, even us who like do that on a regular basis didn't sleep very well. I was so cold.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone listening right now?
All right, I will just say there is peace in Jesus. There
Come
is restoration in Jesus. There is everything in Jesus. Everything you lack in your life,
Amen.
you will definitely find in Jesus. So
Come on.
Yeah.
that's the all I can say to everyone who's listening.
Now, what would you say to somebody who's thinking about doing a DTS?
I would have encouraged. I would have recommend 100% to do it.
Come on.
That's great.
It's gonna be a huge transformation.
No pressure with his DTS staff sitting right here.
He's like, it's terrible. Don't do it.
Help. No,
Yeah.
Just kidding. All right. Well, Mohammed, thanks for joining us, for doing the DTS, for sharing your wisdom. It's been great.
Thank you for saying yes to Jesus.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you for what you guys doing for the Lord and the service and everything.
You're welcome. So I guess this is the part where I advertise this fall's DTS, since we talked about it. So it's 3 months of weekly lectures on a different topic every week, and we have a different speaker. And there's small groups, and we have different jobs you do around the base while you're here practically, and you live here with the other students, and just to really press into God. And then there's the outreach phase, where you spend 2 to 3 months overseas just putting into practice everything you learned during the lecture phase. So it's not the longest school as far as like secondary education goes, but it's definitely, I'll say it can be a life changer, but you're going to get out of it what you put into it.
True
So
that.
it's awesome. Come be a part of it. Ours starts September 20th this year. So yeah.
Thanks for joining us this week.
Yeah.
There will be another one out next week, so stay tuned for more.
Bye.
Peace and love.
Have a nice week.
Mohammed, you wanna say goodbye in a southern accent?
you all have a great day.
Perfect.